Women and men are very different. I'm not just talking about the way that they look, but more specifically in the way that they date one another. There's a lot of coaches out there that give a one-size-fits-all approach to dating and relationships. And I'm here to tell you that I completely disagree with this mindset and this philosophy. Women and men have to approach dating very differently. And in today's video, I'm going to give you some general guidelines of what you should do as a man to increase your value in the dating market. And I'm going to give you some general guidelines as a woman to increase your attractiveness, your worth to the men that are approaching you. Let's jump into today's video. What is up, guys? Welcome to my channel. If you haven't done so already, hit that bell notification to stay on top of all my videos. Follow me on all my major podcasting platforms where this video will be out, and definitely hit that like button because it does help the algorithm. So, ladies first, let's begin with the women. Women have value when they're born. Women don't necessarily have to create a lot of their value, they have to preserve it. And this is something that's very controversial and that has been debated quite a bit. Women don't need to have a PhD or a very high income job to attract the attention of a lot of men. Men are going to look at you as a woman because they are sexually attracted to you. The first thing that he's going to look at is the way that you look. If he likes the way that you look, he's probably going to approach you for a conversation. And if he sees that he can tolerate you or he can really prolong a conversation with you and he finds you interesting, then he's going to try to court you. That's generally how it's going to go. So I hear a lot of advice from women to other women a lot of times saying you need to earn more money, you need to do this, that, and the third, you need to learn a language. And the reality is you don't necessarily need to do all of that. Men are interested in what they are physically and sexually stimulated by. So the first thing that you should do as a woman is to increase your physical attractiveness. This can be done through a variety of methods. Number one, through obviously going to the gym, cleaning up your diet, certain procedures, makeup, things that allow you to stay young, and just in the way that you present yourself with fashion and how you dress. I don't necessarily think it's a good idea to dress too promiscuously because that will turn away a lot of high quality men because they will automatically assume that a lot of other men are approaching you, and the men that are very serious are not going to want to waste their time with the girl that's getting a lot of attention. They're going to approach a girl that is a little bit conservative but still is very attractive to them. You don't need to show a lot of skin to get a guy's attention. That's a big myth. And honestly, a lot of skin showing can put certain guys off. So my advice to all the women out there is when you're really going about your fashion sense, it's better to dress more conservatively, but also have a silhouette that allures a man. The number one thing I've learned when it comes to fashion is being physically fit. When you look at high-end fashion brands, their models are always very good looking and very in shape. So the best thing that you can do is work on that body. Men are very physically drawn to the way that your silhouette is. Even if your face card isn't a 10 out of 10, if you have a good body, you are getting access to the highest quality men in the world. I have seen it firsthand because having a physically fit body is a sign of physical and emotional discipline. And men are very interested in that. We still have vestigial attraction factors where we are still drawn to women that have larger breasts, smaller waists, and larger butts. And this is because the larger thighs allow you to push the baby out a lot easier. Smaller waists are better for the incubation of the baby, and larger breasts are generally associated with more nutrition in breastfeeding. Now, obviously this stuff doesn't really make sense today, but men are still wired primitively to like these kinds of things. When you look at the data on anonymous dating apps, 50-year-old men and 20-year-old men are all attracted to the same type of women. The general area that men are attracted to across the world are 20 to 23 years old when it comes to women. As you get older, past 23, your value in the dating marketplace statistically declines. Now, I'm not saying there's some girls out there that look better at 26 than they did at 21. I'm not saying there's some girls out there that look better at 35 than they did at 18 years old. But I am here to say that this is the data and this is what it shows. Young is good and youngest is best. Kind of sounds weird when I say it like that, but the reality is men want young women. And it's because we're biologically wired to look for reproductive fitness. And when you are younger, you are more likely to have a healthier baby and less birth complications. After the age of 30, you have a high risk of birth complications, and after 35, it's something called geriatric pregnancy. So there's a large level of birth complications that can potentially arise. I'm not saying that I haven't seen women have healthy babies at 42 years old and girls that are very young have children with disabilities. But the general rule of thumb is men like women that are young, that are in shape, that are presentable, and here's the next part. part, that are stimulating to talk to. You don't want to be somebody that's completely pleasing a man 24/7 unless he's earned that right from you. But more than anything, you want to be stimulating in your conversation. You want to seduce the man. You want to ask him questions. You want to ask him advice. And you want to really engage in witty banter with him, because this is actually how you're going to interest a man. A lot of women think that the best thing to do is to be confrontational, which is not true. And a lot of women on the other side, on the other extreme, think it's best to just be a complete yes woman and do everything a man says. And that's also not true, because it'll cause him to devalue you. The best thing that you can do is engage in an open conversation with him, understand his ideas, try to learn more about his viewpoints, and men love to be asked for advice. So ask him his opinion on different things and let him talk. This is the best way for someone to form attraction for you. These are the general guidelines for women. And I will say this, women are born with value. An 18-year-old girl is going to be flown out, taken on dates, taken on yachts, and she can get into any club without any questions because she's very young and very attractive. She's going to have value intrinsically just because she's an 18-year-old woman. Men don't get that treatment. If a guy is on a yacht, it's either his or his friends or something that he's renting. That's just it. It's never a situation where 18-year-old guys are getting flown out all over the country, getting taken to dinner, being wine and dined. That's just not happening. So men don't have the same value as women. And while women are born with value, men have to create it. Men are born on the bottom of the mountain, while women are born at the top. And a woman's job is to preserve her value and not slip and fall into dangerous territory, and to maintain her reputation, while a man's is to build him up. A lot of times when men do bad things, it's a lot more forgivable socially, such as sleeping around with a lot of women or doing something bad in business. Men are a lot more forgiven for those kind of actions, which is in itself a double standard. So one thing I'll say is that while men have it harder to carve their value out, they can fail a lot more and not be held to their failures because they're not born with any value. They have to create it. The best thing I can tell a lot of guys to do is to build your lifestyle up. It doesn't mean become rich, but I will say that becoming financially stable will allow you to build an opportunistic lifestyle. Because a girl might like you for your personality, a girl might like you for the things that you do, but a girl will 100% fall in love with you for the opportunity that you can provide her and the lifestyle that you can present her and your future family. You can become a lottery ticket for a girl if you have a very opportunistic life, a very opulent life, and a life of luxury. So I urge a lot of young men to focus as much as possible to generate wealth. In coordination with that, you should be building yourself up physically by going to the gym. I recommend that you get into martial arts when you're in your 20s because there's no better way to build discipline and humility than by fighting in hand-to-hand combat. First and foremost, your body will heal very quickly. The confidence it gives you when you're able to fight anybody is unreal, and it helps your testosterone, it helps your physicality, and it puts you in an extreme discipline to where you're pushed to your physical limits. So I always recommend men to get into martial arts because I think that the highest level of discipline that you can acquire in life has to be done through physical combat, through martial arts, and competing with other men. Next thing I'm going to tell you to do is to build yourself up intellectually. You want to read books. You want to learn more about life. You want to become spiritual, and you want to learn more about yourself. This is super important, and I think a lot of guys don't pay attention to this stuff. You need to learn more about who you are. You need to learn about your purpose, and you need to carve out a vision and a mission for your life. And the last thing I'll tell you to do as a guy is to build a solid friend group. A friend group of killers that are dedicated to their mission, to their growth. That way, when you're doing well, they're there to support you, and when you're doing bad, they're there to pick you up. Your friend group should be there to motivate you, to keep you at a standard, and to keep you out of bad habits. If I see one of my friends engaging in bad habits and vices, I'm going to be the first one to tell them, hey, you probably shouldn't do this, because I'm a good friend and I care about them and I love them, and I'm going to hold them to a standard. Every day, you should show up to your friend group and to your social circle, letting them know that you are a good person to have by their side. You are valuable, and you deserve to be in this clan, this brotherhood, this group of elite level men. Men need one another to grow in value, and men should abstain as much as possible from getting into lust and from getting into temptation. One of my biggest pieces of advice that people find very controversial is that young men under the age of 30 should not get into serious relationships unless that woman is an absolute diamond unicorn that is proactively trying to build your life up and trying to build you up as a man. A lot of women are not in the mindset to build a man up, and I don't blame them. It's a lot of work to go out of your way to develop a man, to build him, and to make him a better person, for the uncertainty that he may one day find a girl that's better than you or more compatible than you, even though you put in all this work. So yes, I agree when women say you should not build a man. But at the same time, if you find a girl that's willing to do that and that really is loyal to you, and that is a diamond right there, and because she helps you grow as a person, you don't have to question if she's good for you or not. So my idea is to date her only if she is in that category. But for the majority of men out there, you should not be getting into serious relationships when you are so young. You should be dedicating your time into building yourself up. Because as women are born with value, value, our value as a man comes a lot later. And a lot of times men don't have value in society until they reach their late 20s after working for many, 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 many years. Because while a woman can get into the club and the VIP sections for free without saying anything, you as a man have to pay. And when you're a little bit older and you have that financial stability and you have that physical presence and that respect, then you can pay and you can get access to the same opportunities that she has. So you can live the same lifestyle a woman has, you just have to pay. But paying is not so bad when you have money. When you've got bread in your bank account, you're not worried about what the price is. You're worried about if the experience is even worth your time and your energy. And that puts you on the same playing field as women. Another thing you're going to understand very quickly is that women like to be courted. And courting women costs money. Not only does it cost money, it costs time. It costs time out of your precious day that you could be using to build yourself up, to grow your businesses, to learn a new language, or to do something that's more so productive. So when you invest time into a woman, you're taking time out of your life. So the best thing to do is to hyper-focus your resources in a small period of time to where you can show her that you have a lot going on and you can really be efficient with the way that you handle women that come into your life. I don't spend a lot of time with women when I meet them first because I don't want to waste a lot of time. I try to get a general idea of who she is, and if I think that she's a good fit for me in my life in some way, shape, or form, I'll continuously try to talk to her. But if it's not going to be a good fit, I'd rather just walk away. And a woman can tell if you're a valuable man, if you're a disciplined man, and if you're a focused man, and she's going to much rather spend 1 hour with you if you're a valuable man than an entire weekend with a guy that doesn't have a lot going on. And this is the big difference. Guys that have value get access to all the women, and women that are young and beautiful get access to all the guys. There's a value exchange that occurs here, and there's a push and pull mechanism that really operates with the course of natural selection. A woman that is very elegant, a woman that's very beautiful, has a finite amount of time to utilize those resources, to utilize that beauty, to utilize that lifespan. And so my advice to younger women is to get serious about dating as soon as possible. Do not fall into the mindset that you have forever, that you have all the time in the world, that you can go and have fun and party and then take it seriously later. Because I guarantee you, when you turn a little bit older, men won't take you as seriously as they did when you were younger, because you're a lot more valuable in the primitive, in the biological aspect to a man when you are young. Just because you have more money when you're 30 years old or you have more experience does not mean a man is naturally going to desire you. Men want girls that are young typically, and they want girls that are free from baggage, from trauma, from experiences, and from negative reputations of being with a lot of guys. Men are very territorial about their sexuality. On the flip side, as a man, don't waste your time partying, drinking, and wasting your day away. Focus on building yourself up and trying new things and taking as much risk as possible when you are young. The strategies are very different. Women take dating very seriously, and men, you build yourself up to be worthy to date. If a woman is going to date you, she's going to look at you as a lifelong partner. And if you're not worthy, if you don't have anything to provide and no value to bring to the table, then you're just going to be put to the side. In the realm of masculinity, masculinity is sacrifice. And the more that you have, the more you're able to give, and the things that you're giving away, such as a little bit of money, doesn't come off as much of a sacrifice because you have so much of it and so much of it coming in. As a woman, your sacrifice is your time. So going out to that nice dinner with the guy that you're not interested in is a complete waste of time. Instead, get very serious about looking for the right guy to build your life with. Because when you are older, and really for the rest of your life, your happiness depends on the quality of man that you have in your life. And as a man, your happiness depends on the quality of women that you can attract into your life. So these both go hand in hand. So the general idea here is to increase your value as a man and woman. But the way that you do it is very different. Men are born with no value and they have to build it up from nothing, while women are born with a lot of value and they have to maintain and preserve it. I hope this video was helpful. This was a very open-ended approach to how men and women should approach the dating marketplace. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time here with me today. If you haven't done so again, subscribe to my YouTube, check out all of our major podcasting platforms, hit that link in the description below if you ever want to talk to me one-on-one. And until next time, guys, Sumi out.